Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today, thanks to friend of the channel, Jay Holla, and a strange twist of fate, I'm managing to look at this guy. This is the Transformers WFC Cybertron Netflix Wave 3 Cheetor. He's going to be our focus, along with all the custom paintwork that I added to him this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for. All those links down in the description below. All of my social media, all those links also down in the description below. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. And this is the new Netflix Wave 3 Cheetor. I'm really thankful that Jay was able to snag this guy for me. I really appreciate that. I was lucky to get that help. And he is definitely better than the kind of stock release, the mainline release. At least I think so. That one, unfortunately, I will not be able to do a comparison here because that one crumbled to bits on me. Pretty unfortunate. I'm hoping that this guy is better. We're going to see how he compares as well to the original Cheetor. How good is the Netflix version? Well, we're about to head over to the table and find out. And today we're going to take a look at Wave 3 of the kind of Netflix releases, or at least one of the members of Wave 3, that of course being the Netflix repaint of Cheetor. And the original didn't go so well, but before we get into that, let's look at the packaging first. And we have our kind of standard fare here for the Netflix packaging. We have a picture of Cheetor in cheetah mode over here and a Maximal symbol. Nothing much going on the front. We have our typical Warp Cybertron stuff on the side, and then on the back we do have the product images. You will take note, if you will, that we have pretty much an entire solid, like, yellowy color leg. I've changed that a little bit with some custom work. The arms and his head are that same yellowy color instead of being gold, and his elbow doesn't have the blue on it. This is the way it comes out. The paint apps out of package are a little sparse in robot mode, but he does have a ton of paint in cheetah mode, and the paint that is done in robot mode is a nice metallic color, but again, we'll talk about that. So he is a little light on the paint. If you're looking for a more accurate cat mode, this might be the way to go. Kind of nice, giant, clear instructions. I will note that there doesn't seem, at least in this package, there doesn't seem to be any part for making like another Teletran one or anything like that. There's no diorama part in my packaging. I don't know if it was left out or if it's just not included in this wave. And yes, indeed, here we have Cheetor in his cheetah mode. I just noticed that I neglected to paint his cat claws black. I'll do that after. I had it done on the original version of the Kingdom Cheetor, but I neglected to do it here. That was my mistake. Now, just to be clear, I looked at the original Kingdom Cheetor in episode 813. I cannot do that side-by-side comparison here because that guy ended up crumbling to pieces on me. Really unfortunate. I said at the time that the paint apps on him were a 6, maybe a 7 if I was, feeling generous. But the yellow on him is very bright yellow. The blue on him is a very powder blue. So he's really bright. This guy is a darker, almost orangey shade of yellow. Down under here was almost a white color on the regular release, but it's a darker yellow now. Instead of being orange, the eyes are now green. I have a little pupil put in my eye. As well, I have the tongue and the teeth kind of painted quickly, which I have shown before. This guy, of course, has a lot of spots, but I do need to do those claws. In terms of articulation, the arms here, or the front paws, they're on a ball joint, of course. They can go in and out and move all around. We have an elbow. We have the paw is on a ball joint. The back paws are really the legs. They retain pretty much all of the same use of the legs. Like they can go out to the side and you can bend at the knee. Again, we have ball joint and we have like a knee back here for the back leg. Highly posable, way more posable than our original Beast Wars lad. Now I looked at the original Cheetor, the one that's getting a reissue in episode 475. I'm going to tell you now, the original, still fantastic. I'm not going to be looking at the reissue because why would I? I've already looked at the guy. He's terrific. I did a bunch of paint apps on him to make him a custom as well. Here's a quick close-up look at his face with the paint apps added. And here we have our boy again, ready to jump into action. Now, I also looked at the custom attempt that I made on the original Cheetor, the original Kingdom Cheetor, sorry, in episode 817. So I've thrown some numbers out there. I looked at Kingdom Cheetor in 813. I looked at the custom fail in 817. He had some issues, but me not being as careful as I should have been made it worse. If you want to see a good custom of Kingdom Cheetor, check out Larka's Lair. He done a great custom of the like mainstream, mainline Kingdom Cheetor. And I looked at the original Beast Wars Cheetor back in episode 475 in the custom work I did there. So what about this guy? How does he hold up? Well, we're going to do the transformation because we've already looked at it going from robot to cat mode. We're going to do it from cat back to robot mode now since we have the luxury. And then we'll talk about all of his scores and marks then. So this should be fairly easy. We fold up the front leg. When we fold down the foot, we fold up the front of the leg and we fold down the foot, and we should be able to remove that tail section. We should be able to come to the side and open up that side panel, and should be able to begin to bring the cheetah head forward. Coming around to the front here, we should be able to split the chest. I find it a little nerve-wracking to split the chest myself. There we go. And open those out to the side. We take the arm off and we take the arm off. Open these now all the way out as much as we can. Get those arms out. Get those arms out. We're going to take the side pieces and fold them in. It's very easy to forget to fold in these side pieces. A lot of people have surmised that these side pieces are actually going to be for like a reuse as like Transmetal Cheetor. Really, we're going to stand the guy up and reorient the hands and arms next. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll deal with the head last. There we go. Now we've got him oriented a little more accurately. We bring the jaw all the way down. We bring the head down and in. There's a peg here that goes up to like a peg hole deep up in his mouth. Oh, I guess open those sides up. I'm sorry. We should have the head down first before we put those side pieces in. Then put those side pieces in. Fold the robot mode head back. Rotate it around. Fold it up straight. Go here to the hands and fold them around. Come here and fold that hand around. Big shout out, by the way, to Jay Holla. It's all thanks to him that I have this guy. And lastly, we can take the tail flail, and while you can use the peg to hold it, if you really want the like spiky end out, he can hold it by the tail end as well. But in the end, boom, here we have Cheetor in his cheetah mode, or sorry, in his robot mode. So what can we say about this? I'm just gonna make him kind of look out that way a bit. What can we say about this? The transformation, I said before, honestly, was a 9. And I still think it's a 9. The only thing that hurts this, like the engineering is fine on it, it works fine, it's simplistic, but it's interesting. The only thing that hurts this is that in their attempt to cut down on the plastic content, I think certain things, like the neck, are far too thin. I do know that there's a tab now on the neck. How do I know that? Because the very first time I pulled this head out, because of course he's in robot mode and package, that tab snapped. Now, it hadn't snapped all the way off, it was just hanging on. I thought maybe I could straighten it up and do something to solidify it. but in trying to straighten up, it snapped right off. Another little section is also snapped off because the plastic around the head of the cheetah is really thin. Does the cheetah head move left and right? I don't know. It looks like there's a cut there like it could. Mine doesn't move, and the plastic's so thin that I'm afraid to try to move it. That being said, shout out again to Jay and shout out to Kato. Both of those guys at least said, hey, they've transformed theirs multiple times and the tab has stayed intact. But they've also said that they've been very specific and kind of done it delicately. No, this is mainline. I should be able to handle this. Not ham-fist it, but handle it in such a way that it doesn't break. I think the engineering is great. I think a few more grams of plastic should have went into at least the head so that the plastic itself was thicker so that things wouldn't break. Just a little bit. It didn't need to be a lot, but just a little bit. This guy clocks into 61 grams of plastic again. That's too small for a deluxe. You're cutting too much, man. And while the engineering is great, the materials are not so great and they're breaking. It's a 9, but it's a 9 with a caveat that you could break it. If you're cool with that, taking that risk, then cool. I wouldn't transform this guy a lot. I think when it comes to transformation, the original Cheetor is infinitely better, if I'm being perfectly honest. Speaking of the original, here is... Maybe I need to move this guy over a little bit. Stand this guy up straight a little bit. Here's my original custom Cheetor. Now, yeah, he's beautiful, he's bulky. Like the new one looks more svelte the way Cheetor should. This guy, the original, looks a bit bulkier, more like Tigatron. But you know what? It's solid. Like there's nothing on the original that feels thin, that feels like it's gonna break. I've had it now for several years. Of course, it existed several years before I ever had it. He comes with, you know, the tail blaster. He comes with the famed gut gun. So he comes with more accessories. He's more solidly built, and honestly, a ton of the articulation is there. If I was to advise you to get the Kingdom or the original, like if you can get both, cool. But if you can only get one or the other, I feel like the original is going to be the bigger bang for your buck. Probably a little more expensive, but I feel like the original is going to last. Unless now the materials of the original feel different than this. Like in the reissue, if the materials are skimped out or cheaped out or something, then probably go with the Kingdom. Actually, go with the Netflix. But there you go, that's those two together. What about the articulation? Exact same as it was before. We have a head that can go left, right. The arm can kind of go all the way out to the side. We have an elbow, we have a bicep swivel, we have a wrist swivel. We have a waist, we have the ability to kick all the way forward, not much back. The thigh swivel on this guy is better than the one that crumbled on me. Knee to 90 degrees-ish. Ankle tilt. So it kind of has everything that you could want. I said before that the articulation was a 8. I'm going to say the articulation is still about an 8. Why an 8 and not higher? Because these pieces around his shoulders, they do kind of hinder the movement a bit. Like they're a bit cumbersome. You can work around it to get most of what you want, but it's a bit cumbersome. You're not going to get quite everything that you want. I mean, the arms can't go all the way around. They can't even really kind of go back too much because that junk is in the way. Oh, and he does, I didn't say this, but he does do, you know, splits fairly well. So, and he does, his feet are so small that he's a little precarious to stand. So we had a 10 for the, a 9 for the transformation. We had an 8 for the articulation. That's an 8.5. Overall, I would say that both of those marks are the same here. It doesn't feel like any mold degradation, but it also doesn't feel like anything is any better. Although that's a bit of a lie. The thigh swivel is looser on this guy. Not loose, but it's just more comfortable to manipulate it. Then we get to the paint apps. I said on the Kingdom that it was only a 7. It was a hard Cheetor, man. Out of package here, I feel like this is more like an 8. I feel like it's better because the Cheetah looks better in a package, and I feel like the hue of the colors is more accurate to the animation and to the original Beast Wars release. What did I add here? Well, we already looked at the apps added in Cheetah mode. I made the arms gold and the upper thighs have a touch of gold, as does the top of the foot, as it should. Then and I think gold on his head crest, if I didn't say that. Then I used a mix of a metallic blue and it's called ultramarine blue. And I mixed those to get a match for the metallic blue that's on this guy. And I painted his elbows, and I painted not on like the like main part of the leg, but just on the, see, like his feet are a little precarious, but just on the like blue front there, and then the 3 little spikes, I topped those off with gold as well. Honestly, this seems like a quintessential Cheetor to me now in terms of looks. Honestly, I know that the lower legs are slightly stylized there. It's a solid 9.5 at this point. With the additional paint apps, I feel like it's a solid 9.5. Granted, that's a bit subjective. So, out of package, we had a 8.5 going for the articulation and the transformation, and an 8 for the look, the paint apps. So overall, about an 8.25. With the custom work done, he was still getting an 8.5 for articulation and transformation combined. But with the 9.5, I feel like overall now he's about a 9. So it's not a huge difference. I mean, 8.25 to a 9, and the difference is the custom paint apps. He's okay. If you don't like the main line, the only thing here that's going to make you like this better is that the look, the hues, the colors are better. But in terms of the materials used, the construction, and the functionality, the guy's exactly the same. And here we are again, and here he is, and like he looks beautiful. He really does. By the way, I have the claws done in black now. But like he looks beautiful, he looks the part. Yeah, this looks like Cheetor, especially now with the custom paint apps. Do you need to add them? No. Do I think that even without them, the colors are more true to the character? Yes, like the hues of yellows and blues seem more true to what we traditionally know as Cheetor, or at least it does to me. If you like the mainline, cool man, you win, but I feel like that this is more accurate to the original release and the original animation for what that's worth. I like this guy. I just wish again that the materials were a bit better, especially around the head of the cat. The plastic's real thin. I know some people have been lucky and not broken anything on it, but I'm nervous about the longevity of that. I hate to say it because the cat mode looks great and the robot mode looks great and he's pretty fun. The articulation is somewhat limited. The materials used are kind of fragile, so it's a bit of like a dice game, a bit of a crapshoot, as they say. I don't know. Like, he's good. Is he better than the original? I don't know. I think that results will vary, but for the way he's designed, the way he looks, the way he's supposed to be, he's quite good. Even if a little light for deluxe. Let me know what you think about Cheetor. I appreciate you guys coming by, man. Give me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. Don't forget to also hit that subscribe button, and that somehow, someway, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.